So, the story we're diving into today, it's not about winning or losing a war. Not really. It's about the war that never, ever ends, the one that a soldier carries around inside their own head. We're going to follow a guy named Private Elias Kane through his tour in Vietnam and watch his descent up this metaphorical ladder to hell, one traumatic event at a time.
Man, this quote it nails it, doesn't it? It perfectly captures how a soldier's whole world gets turned upside down. For a guy like Kane, the way you measure existence completely changes. Suddenly, it's not about sunrises or sunsets anymore. It's all about survival stats and feeling the person you used to be just slowly flake away. And that's the world he's about to be dropped into.
Okay, so try to picture this. It's June of '67. A 19-year-old Elias Kane steps out of a rattling C-130 and right into a wall of heat and humidity in Vietnam. He's just a kid from a Cleveland steel mill, and now he's got a rifle, a flak jacket, and a malaria pill. The welcome party? It's pretty grim. Just a simple, welcome to the shit, GI. Yeah, the dream dies pretty much on day one.
And this right here shows you why. That massive gap between the war you see in the movies and the war on the ground. Kane probably grew up on John Wayne films with these clear-cut good guys and bad guys, these heroic battles. But what he found, it wasn't anything like that. There were no enemy lines to charge. Instead, the enemy was everywhere and nowhere. A ghost in a jungle filled with ambushes, booby traps, and these awful punji sticks designed to maim you, not just kill you.
Every descent has to start somewhere. For Kane, it was one specific moment. A moment that completely shattered whatever innocence he had left and built the very first rung on his ladder to hell.
The military, of course, had a nice, clean word for it: pacification. It sounds almost gentle, doesn't it? Clinical. But on the ground, pacification meant a Zippo raid. Kane's squad gets the order to sweep a village they think is helping the enemy, and the command is to burn it all down. That cold, detached word was just the Army's way of saying total destruction.
And this quote, this shows you the reality behind that sterile term. Kane flicks his own Zippo, he sets the thatched roofs on fire, and the sound is what sticks with him. It's not the sight of the flames, it's the sound of people screaming until they don't sound human anymore. That's the kind of thing that burns itself into your soul forever.
That very night, in some kind of fever dream, the central idea of this whole story is born: the ladder to hell. It's this vision that's just going to haunt him, and every new trauma he experiences will add another rung. And what's that very first rung made of? A single, horrifyingly specific image. A little kid's sandal that he saw lying in the smoking embers of the village he just helped destroy.
And from that point on, things only get worse. The war goes from destroying places to direct, personal, intimate violence. It throws Kane straight into what the soldiers just called the meat grinder, a place where right and wrong get completely obliterated by nonstop horror.
Hamburger Hill was the perfect example of the meat grinder. I mean, this isn't war from a safe distance. Kane is literally crawling on his belly through the grass while bullets are snapping right over his head. He sees napalm strikes turn men he knows into human torches. And then comes the order to fix bayonets and go into the trenches to finish off the wounded, an act that's supposed to be pragmatic but just feels like pure murder. He actually has to kill a man up close and feel his life gurgle away.
And then you have the interrogation. The mission, again, has this very clinical-sounding playbook, but the reality was just unspeakable. Water cure is just a nice term for simulated drowning. Field phone? That's electric shocks from a hand-cranked generator right to the genitals. And when that doesn't work, things go medieval, which meant bamboo slivers under the fingernails. And Kane, he's forced to be a part of it, to hold the prisoner down while he screams.
So this act, this torture, it cements another piece of trauma into his mind. After it's over, the ladder reappears in his head. And this time, there's a new rung, a grotesque, twisted step that's formed from the image of the prisoner's shattered teeth. The architecture of his own private hell is getting bigger.
As all these horrors just keep piling up, something inside Kane just starts to switch off. He gets numb, desensitized. He basically becomes a ghost haunting the jungle. This next phase is all about that cumulative effect of trauma, how a person can lose their soul one piece at a time.
Just look at this timeline. There was no break, no moment to stop and process anything. It was just one nightmare after another. Surviving the constant rocket attacks at Khe Sanh,
the absolutely brutal room-to-room fighting during the Tet Offensive, breathing in Agent Orange, literally breathing poison. And then, the one that hits closest to home, watching his buddy, Ramirez, get completely vaporized by a claymore mine.
And this is where he finally breaks. The ghosts aren't just in his memory anymore. Now, they're talking to him. He starts hallucinating, hearing Ramirez's voice telling him to climb that ladder, promising that things are somehow clean at the top. He starts shooting his rifle at shadows in the jungle, seeing the faces of everyone he's killed. The war isn't just around him anymore. It's inside him.
So, what happens when you finally get a break? You'd think that would help, right? Well, for Kane, a 7-day pass for R&R, rest and recuperation, it wasn't an escape, it was just the final proof that you can't outrun a war that's moved into your mind. So on the outside, he's on this beautiful beach in Pattaya, Thailand. He's surrounded by the smell of flowers and whiskey, the sound of music from the bars. But inside his head, it's still Vietnam. The smell is gunpowder and rot. The sounds are screams and gunfire. And every single attempt to forget is just met by the ghosts of his past. On his last night there, he's blackout drunk, and the vision comes back with a vengeance. He sees the ladder rising straight out of the ocean waves, and he hears Ramirez's voice again, and the message is just chillingly clear. This place, this supposed paradise, it's not an escape. It's just another rung on his ladder to hell. And that really brings us to the question at the very heart of Kane's story. For him, and for so many others, the tour of duty never actually ends. The flight home is just a change of address. The real battlefield is the one they carry inside them, a landscape of memory and moral injury, from which there might not be any way to ever get discharged.